welcome to Best Laid Plans. This is your host, Sarah Hart-Unger, and this is the podcast where we talk all things planning and planning adjacent. This is going to be probably the last interview episode for December. Believe it or not, this month is just going so quickly, and I have to have most of the episodes really from now until the end of the year ready over the next 10 or so days. And so this one's a special treat because every once in a while, I really like to showcase someone who does planning a little bit different from me. And then as we chat, I always realize that there are so many common elements between people who love to plan. And I think that was certainly the case for this conversation with Ronna. Before we get started with the interview, just a little bit of fun book news. So this airs December 8th, and my book is available for pre-order for just 8 more days. It's released officially on December the 16th. So next week's episode, I'll talk a little bit more about launch and, how I feel about that and everything related to the book. But for today, I do have a tiny piece of fun news, which is that I just found out that Best Laid Plans, the book, A Simple Planning System for Living a Life That You Love, was named as one of Amazon's editor picks for nonfiction for December. And they only picked 9 books of all nonfiction releases, and mine was one of them. And I cannot tell you how incredibly shocked and thrilled I was to find out about that. At first I thought, oh, they just put this editor thing on everyone's book. But then when I clicked into it, it was a real thing. And my own editor was so excited, and she messaged me as well. So this was such an honor if you found this podcast because you browse the editor's picks at Amazon. I mean, I doubt it, but you never know. Then hello, there is so much planning fun in store for you in these episodes, but really just super, super exciting. And I can't tell you how thrilling it is to have my work out there in the world after so many years of wanting to share it this way. So yay. All right. Well, with that, I will leave you to my conversation with Ronna. It's a really fun one. You can learn how somebody else plans similarly, but also with some differences. And I'd say the biggest difference is how much emphasis she puts on the month. So here we go. Here's my conversation. Well, I am so excited to be here with Ronna Belinky, a productivity and time management expert and the creator and head of Workflows by Ronna, but also someone who I think has known about this podcast for a while. So welcome. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I've been a huge listener of Best Laid Plans since the beginning and also Best of Both Worlds. So I'm really excited to be here.
I love that. And I have no idea if we've influenced anything that you've done, but I have an inkling that maybe there's at least some parallels and that we think in some similar ways. So I think the listeners will be really excited to hear how you think.
Absolutely.
So we are going to start with kind of a planner piece. So we're going to go backwards. We're going to hear about the methods that you use to help others in this episode. But I am always so interested in how does this expert planner plan herself? So we're going to do a detailed kind of interestingly, so in the back of my book, there are vignettes that go through 6 different people and kind of how they plan in different areas. So I'm going to take you through some of those questions so that we can hear how Ronna, a productivity and time management expert, does her own planning. So let's begin with, what tools do you currently use? Give us a broad overview.
So everything that I have for my personal and professional life is separate except for my calendar. And that is digital. And that is where the combination ends because everything else is separate. So for my personal life, I plan using an Erin Condren weekly life planner. And I have the vertical layout. So the top box is for my workouts, the middle is for to-dos, and then the bottom is for any errands I might do. I cannot stand doing errands, but that's what I use that for. And then what I really use mostly is this notebook that I created and that I've been using for the past 10 years. So I was using, I don't know if you know the company May Designs.
Yes, I have heard of that. Yeah.
Okay, so she's got great notebooks. So I used them until I created my own branded one. But it has all of my tasks for the month. So each month and then each week after that. So I break down every single month of the things that I do every month. Like every January, I do similar things, and then I break them out by each week. So I plan and pace that. And the only thing that goes in the Erin Condren daily, weekly planner are things that have to get done that day. So I really break things up by month and by week because I felt like the daily planning for my personal life never ended up getting done. And so I would just get really frustrated and feel like a failure. And so I would kick the can down the road. So for me, a weekly cadence with my personal planning is so much better. So I use the Erin Condren planner. And then I also, for personal planning, have the Gretchen Rubin 5-year journal. I know that you'd have the Hobonichi.
Yes, I love it.
I love this. I'm on my third one. I've been doing it since 2014.
Oh my gosh, you filled multiple 5 years. That's so fun. Is that more for,
Yes.
That's more for like memory keeping and planning, I'm guessing?
Exactly. Yes. But I thought I'd explain it because you always explain yours in your planner stack.
Yes.
So every night I look at what happened the years before, and it's just wild. It's absolutely wild. So I do that.
I love that as a ritual that you actually revisit. Do you revisit all 3 of them?
I do every night. I've got them all 3 on my nightstand, and I do it at night. And I look back from 2014 on from that day, and it's just wild to see what has happened and what's changed. And it's so simple.
I mean, that's a brilliant. I'm already inspired by this interview because I never actually thought, I'm starting my first new one next year, having finally filled my first one. And it never crossed my mind that like, oh, every day I could just pull out the one from 2021 to 2025 and look back. And I think I'll do that. That is so fun. Okay. So your stack, going back, we have you said you have an electronic calendar for like work stuff and then
personal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that like your source of truth calendar wise?
It is.
Okay. So any like time specific event, but then I like it. You're like time specific tasks for each day go in this Erin Condren weekly, and then all of your longer term task management, and I'm going to guess longer term goal setting, although we'll get to that, go in this notebooks system, which started as a May Company notebook and is now a notebook by Ronna. Oh, that's super cool. Okay, so let's talk about that like longer term planning side of things. So on the scope of a season or a year, anything that you do even greater than a month time frame?
Yes. So since 2018, since Gretchen Rubin started, and I am a huge fan like you are of her, I started doing 18 for 2018. And so my list in my notebook, the beginning of it, the first 2 pages is that. So for this year, it's 25 for 25. And that's about as far as I go for long-term planning. It's really the year, the month, and then the weeks.
That's awesome. And I know one year you did best laid plans at home. So I guess that's where you generated that list. Do you have any specific rituals where you generate your 2026 list for next year?
Yeah, so it's really cool. So I started doing it, and then a couple of friends started doing it. And so we all now have an accountability group. I think there are 5 or 6 of us. And so we meet at the end of the year. We do a recap. We try to meet quarterly. It's really hard with all of our schedules. We've got people that do different jobs that don't have a lot of availability. But at the end of the year, usually during winter break, is when I write my list. And I look back on the last years, even though I do that all throughout the year. And then we try to meet quarterly. So we always try to meet at the beginning of January and say, these are our lists. And then every time we meet, we go through our lists and say what we've done and what we haven't done. I love it myself, but it's really fun to share it with people who it's really important to also. And
is this like in person? You guys meet? I'm picturing a cozy coffee shop and like everyone has their planners. Is this actually true?
It's either it's been at a restaurant once, but it's usually at somebody's house. And it's so great because a lot of these women also are not planners like me, but it's the one thing they do. And so it feels really special.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm like, can I make a neighborhood? Like, I mean, I obviously do it virtually already with planning by season, but I would love to have like an in-person component personally. Like, yeah, because there'd be something very special about like meeting up and like reading from your thing. And I'm sure part of that, okay, I'm like extrapolating, but I'm guessing that if someone's struggling with something, everyone can then come up with ideas. Is that how it works?
Exactly. Yes. We all can think of suggestions. One year, one of my friends, she had these picture frames on the wall and on her it could be such a silly thing. She's like, fill my picture frames. And I told her that I heard somewhere someone saying, you know what? I'm not going to fill the picture frames and I'm fine with it. So I shared that with her. I was like, maybe it's fine you don't fill the picture frames.
Super interesting. Yeah, because it's true. One option for every goal is to find a workaround, have someone else help, or maybe your friends will encourage you, like, does it need to be on that list? Like, who's it on that list for? And you can kind of get into that exploration in a group setting. That is super cool.
Yeah.
Anything in your personal system that you're thinking of changing? I just think this is a fun time of year to be thinking about this.
That's such a good question. So when my kids were younger, now they're 14 and 18, so things are easier as far as task management goes. But for a long time, I was doing a lot of my personal planning during the week when I had more time, when I didn't have this business and I had more of a part-time job. And so I've been doing a lot of task batching on the weekends for my personal tasks. And I think that in 2026, I want to take more time again during the week and try to find those pockets of time when I can really tackle some personal things so I don't have to wait for the weekends. It's easier on the weekends for me now. I just listened to your episode with Laura about weekends. It's so much easier now that they're older, but I also don't want to have to do a lot of those tasks during that time. So I'm always figuring that out. It's kind of like trying to find that balance.
I can see that. I mean, yes, it's true. Like you're able to do more chores or maybe even more work on the weekend when you have older kids. But then you're like, I only have a few more years left with these kids and I want to enjoy some of the time together and make sure that we all get some rest and things like that. So that sounds like a worthy thing to tackle. Well, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to talk about kind of how you ended up turning this into something that you teach to others as well. I want to know more about these notebooks, like specifics, like the paper, like everything. Okay, we'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you with support from Green Chef. One of my favorite things about this reflection and celebration season is the food. That makes it a fantastic time to try Green Chef. Not only because their meals are packed with warm and homey flavors, but because they're a convenient and healthy way to keep things balanced between events and festive weekends. Green Chef meals are made with real, clean ingredients, and they help you build lasting healthy habits without the hassle. In addition to delicious dinners, they also have salads ready in just 5 minutes, protein-filled breakfasts, and nutrient-rich smoothies to fuel your day. The recipe options change every week, and with week-to-week flexibility, you can adjust your plan to match your mood and your schedule. They really are family-friendly too. My kids are always so excited for our Green Chef dinners. Make this season your healthiest yet with Green Chef. Head to greenchef.com/50bestlaid and use the code 50bestlaid to get 50% off your first month, then 20% off for 2 months with free shipping. That's code 50bestlaid at greenchef.com/50bestlaid. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Organize 365. As we approach the close of another year, I want to take a moment to honor you, the leader of your household, the cornerstone of your family, the multitasker, the caregiver, the friend, the professional, and the dreamer. You wear countless hats, and with every role you carry an invisible load. These tasks, decisions, and emotional labor sometimes even go by unseen by you, but they are never unfelt. This is the work that powers our lives. It's the unseen effort that keeps everything running, often at the cost of our own peace of mind or goals. But what if this invisible work didn't have to stay invisible? What if you could bring it to light, streamline it, and reclaim the energy it takes? The Sunday Basket is a natural partner for your weekly planning routine. The Sunday Basket contains and corrals all your ideas, paper notes, to-do lists, and mail safely until you are ready for your weekly planning time. Let this be the year you free your mind, lighten your load, and make your goals a reality. Together, let's make the invisible work visible. Visit organize365.com/sundaybasket to buy the Sunday Basket today. That's organize365.com/sundaybasket. Today's episode is brought to you with support from Mint Mobile. Both Mint Mobile and I want you to know that you don't have to let big wireless and your overpriced phone bill suck the joy out of the holidays this year. Because right now, all of Mint Mobile's unlimited plans are 50% off. You can get 3, 6, or 12 months of unlimited premium wireless for $15 per month. It's their best deal of the year, so really a fantastic time to check it out. All of Mint Mobile's plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network, so you can keep your same number. And there are no contracts, so it can be a no-obligation experiment if you'd like it to be. Turn your expensive wireless present into a huge wireless savings future by switching to Mint. Shop Mint Unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/BLP. That's mintmobile.com/BLP. Limited time offer. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. More than 35 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. All right, we're back. And it definitely sounds, Ronna, like I can see that you have a very workable system. Actually, I had one logistical question. Do you have a fresh notebook for each month?
No, there's one notebook for the whole year.
Because I was picturing little like pamphlet-sized notebooks and like rewriting that yearly list 12 times, which actually wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. Like I could see there'd be validity to like, I'm forcing myself to see this and put pen to paper 12 times, but also maybe impractical for some. So yeah, let's start with the notebook. Like where you evolved it from these May company, is that what it's called?
May
Notebooks?
Designs.
May Designs notebooks.
Mhm.
And tell us about how this evolved.
So I started my business and I was helping a lot of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and small businesses with tackling repeatable tasks for their business, whether they be repeatable events or projects. And I thought about my notebook system and the fact that it's repeatable, which goes along with my business and what I always preach, don't reinvent the wheel, all these things. And I thought, why am I not teaching this process to people? I've been doing it for 10 years. I started when my kids were 4 and 8. Why am I not teaching this? And so I got together with my friend who helps me with my business, and I had to explain it to her. And for somebody who doesn't, I don't know if this happened to you when you were doing your course, but it was hard for me to explain to her how to teach it to somebody because I think it's such a simple system and it really is. But to put it on paper and into worksheets and explain it was really difficult. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to teach this. I'm going to have my friend who published her own book on Amazon create a book for me that I can sell on Amazon. There are things that I would love to change about it in the future. Like I'd love it to be spiral bound, things like that. It's undated, so you can start at any time, and that's really on purpose. You can start at any year and any time of the year. So yeah, it's just an Amazon self-published book that you can buy. If you do my workshop in person, then I give you a notebook. But it's all these worksheets, and it's basically starting to think about your life and your personal reflection about what are the things that you do during the year that keep you busy, and when are your busy times, when are your slow times. It's thinking about the people that you're responsible for in your life and who you want to do things for during the year. And then it's broken up by month. And so at the workshop, you actually plan all of your months out. And then you break it out during the workshop into 1 month and 4 weeks of 1 month so that you can see. And then that's your kind of like your template going forward. And then that book serves as the template for the next year. So you're not reinventing the wheel. So you have one each year and it's different, but it's also, I also teach a digital version also. So I know that you always talk about it's not always the tool, it's the process. So I teach the process and I also give a digital version in Google Sheets, which looks like the notebook, except it's digital. And then you can think about how you want to implement it into your life.
Totally makes sense. And I absolutely understand the value of keeping. That's why I always tell people, keep your seasonal list, because if you end up stuck in Q2 of 2026, like, oh, wait, what happens? You could always at least have a starting point as referring to that old list. And like, it will help you with those household tasks that are seasonal, those kid related things that are seasonal. And you're going to come up with new stuff as well. But having that as a reference is so valuable. I mean, to me, it sounds very nested goals, but you are kind of combining all the planning process for the month and the week in this group setting. And I can see how incredibly powerful that would be for the kind of person who wants that accountability.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and thank you. And one thing that I give out is this, it's called Ronna's Brainstorm Task List. So it's about, I think it's now 7 pages of tasks and all the things that you might do. Because I think a lot of people have a hard time thinking about, oh, what do I do every year? What are the things that I do for my family and I do for myself? What are these repeatable things? So I offer this, I give this brainstorm task list also. And so they're crossing things off. Oh, I don't do these things. Oh, somebody else in my life does these things and I don't need to worry about them. So it's really thinking about the whole picture and providing a list for them, which is, it's not big picture planning, you know, it's like really nitty gritty.
Totally makes sense. So do you have people that do your course like indefinitely, or do some people jump in and out and then do it on their own? How does it tend to work?
So it's a 2-hour workshop virtually. And then in person, it's 2.5 hours. So people do it once. And then the goal is for you to be able to do it on your own. And you actually do the work in the workshop. It's not like, okay, go do homework on your own. We're doing the work in the workshop so that they know how to do it going forward. But it's funny that you asked that because I've thought about a part 2 and getting more into implementing it more. Because a lot of the people that take my workshop, I feel like this is the beginning for them. They've never thought about this before. Everything is in their head. That David Allen quote, your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. Like they don't understand that concept. And so it's really brand new for them. So it's the beginning for them. And so I didn't want to intimidate them and overwhelm them with, okay, well, now here's how to do it daily if you want to, or how, I didn't want to intimidate people. So it's just the start.
That makes sense. Although I could seriously see it being valuable for someone who's like, I want to sign up for a year's worth of these to do it with Ronna.
Well, I would love if somebody hired me to do that. I do work one-on-one with people trying to plan their personal and their professional lives. And we get into specifics.
That's awesome.
Which I love. It's my favorite thing that I do. But yeah, it's something to think about.
Yeah. And I have had people ask me about that, and I don't currently do that. So if you are looking for that and you're listening to this right now, honestly, it sounds like Ronna might be a wonderful resource to check out. So I'm sending them your way already.
I love it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So what is next? Any plans for, I don't know, putting this into a book or doing anything specific with this awesome methodology that you've developed?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I've thought about it. A lot of people have told me to start a podcast. Honestly, I've been listening to podcasts since 2010. I mean, for so long. And they feel like a lot of work to me. So I'm not sure if that's, I don't know, a book, maybe one day. I don't really know. I love this system. People who take it then sometimes hire me to do one-on-one work, which I absolutely love. So I don't know. It's a great question. Something I need to think about. Maybe I'll put it on my 26 for 26 list.
I was going to say something to ponder as we enter the new year and you start doing that deeper reflection. Well, this has been so much fun. I honestly feel super inspired, even just by hearing about your system. And while I do already practice that monthly and weekly planning, this is an interesting idea of putting it together a little bit more, which might work for some people. And I think one big takeaway is the not reinventing the wheel part and making sure if you're taking the valuable mental bandwidth and time to create these detailed lists that you save them for yourself so that you can refer to them in the future, because it's very common that what goes around in March comes around the next March. So a reminder I think all of us can use.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you got it. You absolutely got it. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. This was so much fun.
Of course. Now, where can listeners find you, in terms of your website and if you do any social media?
Yes. So I have a website. It's workflowsbyronna.com. And then I also have Facebook and Instagram, and it's just Workflows by Ronna. And all of my workshop information is on there. And I share some tips and tricks. And then I also have a monthly newsletter that you can subscribe to on my website.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
All right, I am back. That was so much fun. I love chatting with people who love planning. It just makes me happy. I feel like I could have talked to her literally all day. I will be back next week with more about my upcoming book launch, since that comes out in just a day after next week's episode. And I also will just take the time to let you know you can still join Best Laid Plans at Home Planning 2026. So the first sessions of this course actually begin today, December 8th, as this episode airs. So you could probably, if it's the morning, maybe join, and I'll make sure I send you everything before we actually start at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on December 8th. However, you do not need to rush because A, the videos are all going to be recorded and available, but B, this is a course in which I do 3 separate showings. It's a course that has a good number of participants, and in order to have somewhat of a conversational feel and not just be like me talking in a lecture hall, I divide it up. And the way I do that is I just offer 3 showings. So the first one is December 8th and 10th, but the second one is 2 Saturdays in January, and the third one is 2 weekdays in January. So you can check those times out. They're all on my website, theshoebox.com/courses, or just look for the courses tab on the top of the website. but you can get more information there if you're interested. Still space available, especially because I have those January offerings. So if you're looking for that structured planning guide, or like someone to really, really walk you through that annual planning, probably similar to the way Ronna walks her wonderful participants through her monthly planning, then you can get that at Best Laid Plans at Home Planning 2026. All right, I'll be back next week with a fun Q&A episode and more chat about the book. I hope you have a wonderful week and are enjoying your reflection and celebration season. Happy December planning.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.